And then one day you're responsible for $20 million of pipeline, right?
We're going to start it by deciding whose job is harder, sales or marketing.
The relationship between sales development and marketing, and specifically like inbound demand generation, is one of the most important relationships because it creates like the most stable path to revenue growth.
And I went home and said to my wife, I was like, this person's crazy, right?
Only pipeline in the building.
Right. Guys, welcome. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Sean Hector, and with me, I have Yuval Tessler.
Yeah. Now we have a podcast, so everyone have to listen to it. That's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I always feel we've got a lot to say, and not enough people are listening. And as I say that, it sounds so pretentious, but really what we plan to do is just kind of talk about some of our experiences over time, both as being colleagues and friends, have some fun while we're doing it, and hopefully, teach everyone out there something, at least one or two things through the sum of our experiences.
Yeah. So Sean, tell us about Sean. Like, why should we listen to what Sean has to say?
Yeah. A great question, Yuval.
Great question.
Yeah, so I'm Sean. Today, I actually live in Amsterdam. I'm originally from Canada. Essentially, I'm here because I wanted to get some international work experience. So I work at a tech company as a director of sales. And as I said, I grew up Ottawa, Canada. Moved to the big city of Toronto to start my career after university. And through a couple different tech companies, eventually found my way and got to the privilege to work with Yuval. And as a result, that relationship has endured to this day. So that's basically it about me, man.
Yeah, this is our friendship, baby, the podcast, right? Let's make it as creepy as possible.
I
And
wouldn't use the word creepy, but fair.
yeah, are we name dropping the companies we work for? I think we should.
Yeah, I guess you could.
Right? Yeah, I think we should. Yeah. What
Yeah,
company you
well,
work for, Sean?
Well, I worked for, where we met, we worked at an Israeli IT company called Sysaid. So I worked at the Toronto office and you worked in Israel. And I actually got to visit you a couple times in Tel Aviv, and that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, but where do you work now?
So today I work for a company called Customer Gauge, and we are a B2B customer experience platform. So I've been having a lot of fun working in kind of the Dutch environment and, being international, meeting new people, doing new things. Yeah, it's been quite an experience so far. How about you, Yuval? Tell us a little bit about you.
So yeah, I've been in B2B marketing for the past 6-7 years. I did some agency work a little bit before that, and I met Sean. Like I'm speaking to a third, but Sean, I met you when we were working
Yeah.
working for a company called Sysaid. I've been working with, I think, 3 different like BDR leaders before you came. And yeah, and then you came, and on the first call, you said, hey, Yuval, nice to meet you. In my previous company, I was best friend
Yeah.
with the person who was in your position. So now we are going to become best friends. And I went home and said to my wife, I was like, this person's crazy, right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
And to actually add a little bit of color on that, Yuval, I forgot to say like the positions that I held and what I was doing. And so at my previous company, Top Hat, I was I did some sales roles, and I ended up, finishing there in a manager of sales development role. And so I came over to Sysaid to do director of sales development and business development. And what's really important, and I think like this is going to anchor a lot of Yuval's and mine's conversation, as many of you probably know, but the relationship between sales development and marketing, and specifically like inbound demand generation. I'm probably messing up the title, Yuval, but like that activity is one of the most one of the most important relationships because it creates like the most stable path to like revenue growth. And so back to what you said, Yuval, like I said that because I'm like, we're gonna be best friends. And to be fair, I'm not still best friends with my previous sales development, demand gen guy, I am still best friends with you. So it's been a
Yeah, yeah.
good time.
Yeah, it was a good call. It was a good call back then.
I think so. But the
Yeah.
relationship was not without its trials and tribulations either.
It's like all relationships. And I think that's I don't know if, people will listen to us and they'll maybe understand it. But for me, it's a part of the journey. And you can't really become good friends with someone if you just stay away or avoid confrontation or everything is like smooth sailing, right? Even with your high school friends or whatever, we go through a lot with people and it's the good times and bad times. You can't build a relationship only on, oh, we hit our pipeline revenue goals each month, right? Then it's
Yeah.
actually lead to more politics. This is the way I'm seeing it. But anyway,
Well,
we'll get to that.
The thing is like exactly what you said, like less so for high school relationships, but more so as you make friendships later in life, as well as like good working relationships, is that you know that when you work together, like it's constructive, it's collaborative, it's you walk away from that conversation having said like, oh, I thought about something in a new way, or he's like pushing me, to learn or develop in a certain way that like ultimately like is very rewarding, right? And so you want to keep those types of people around in life as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, we made it happen. One wizard meme after another. We need to start sending this to other people as well.
I'm
So
sure lots of people have seen that.
we'll grow the wizard community, right?
Yeah.
And we need to talk a little bit about why this podcast is happening. We had a call yesterday. In the call, you said that a survey showed or something like this. The only reason for two guys to stay friends
Yeah.
is for them to have a podcast together.
Yes. Yes.
As an adult, right?
I've heard
so
it.
exactly. So we said we're gonna start it by deciding whose job is harder, sales or marketing.
Well, let's hear your case.
My case, I think you get 0% of the glory. Meaning, if a deal gets closed, for an example, I haven't seen a single like email or throughout my career, by the way, like in all of the companies I worked for, no email was like, thank you for marketing for making this deal happen. 0 times throughout my career.
You're working at the wrong companies.
Maybe I don't think that's the case. I'm working for some very good companies where marketing is valued, and we are usually measured by pipeline, demos, the amount of leads we generate. But when it comes to like the perception of maybe the CEO, even sometimes the sales leaders of marketing actually enabled us in closing some deals. So I think in this regard, it's very hard because you always have to prove your case that you are valuable, that you contributed to the company. And like sometimes a big percentage of the marketing work is actually to justify why you exist in the first place, which is ridiculous, right?
Do you feel like you're a cost center in marketing?
Define a cost center.
Like you look at IT, we sold to IT, and it's just say like a lot of the conversation was around ROI because IT is sometimes a cost center, but it's necessary. So you feel underappreciated because you're not a revenue generating function?
I think especially in B2B, right? Where we work and where a meeting is becoming an opportunity. There's no, we are recording the session on Riverside, right? And yeah, Riverside, this is what's called. And you just need to put your credit card. It's there's a free trial. When we decide to pay for it, it's usually up to like 3 digits in US dollars per year. It's like really high velocity business. And over there, like the marketing department, I'm pretty sure because I also know someone who worked there, is that they are a revenue generator, right? Because it's touchless. I haven't spoken to a single sales rep, right? But for in where I work and where I deliver value, it's sometimes a little bit harder to prove the case. Why do you think BDR is more difficult?
Well, first off, what I was going to say is that I think like I've so much respect for what you guys do in marketing, especially because like I've as a sales development leader, I've learned, right, like a little bit about like LinkedIn ads and Google ads and all these like black boxes that you're pulling levers on and fine tuning like every so often, especially when you have a sales leader in your ear being like, bro, like come on, give me more leads, um, while not having any understanding how that actually happens. So I think there's a lot of respect there. Um, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like in terms of sales, and let me just say, like, I never expected to be a sales guy, like growing up. I took international business when I was in university. I was like, yeah, let's do business, right? I just kind of found myself in sales. And what I really enjoy about it is like well, in my role, like the management and the leadership aspect of it. But even in my current role today, like I do have a pipeline, like as an enterprise AE would, as I manage a team. And just I hadn't done that since pre-SysAid, which was own a pipeline. And just I think that there's yeah, all of the upside when a sales opportunity is closed, right? Like I closed something on Friday this past week and I had both the CEO and COO like in my Slack saying like congrats. It's great, right? I'm very happy for that. But we're also left holding the bag if it doesn't go well and we have all accountability to that, right? And especially in my role, where like you and I are working to get like quantity and quality into the pipeline. And again, it's not like all of these like leadership meetings that we had at CISAID, maybe I missed it, but no one was ever like, Yuval, do better. You did so consciously because you wanted to make this the best function that you could. But like if my team wasn't performing, I'm the one sweating, every time in that meeting. And sometimes you don't feel like doing sales either, talking to other people and trying to sell a software. I don't know. I just feel like the grind is pretty hard on this side.
So if I hear what you're saying, which is a phrase I've heard from, right?
You took that from me, by the
I
way.
took that from you, yeah. Um, but I'm hearing that you need to sell to a lot of people, whereas marketing, we need to sell only internally to the organization that, we're worth what we get paid to do, right?
Well, especially in this like day and age of AI and SDR, BDR, and like seeing that that's a capability that potentially be developed pretty quickly in AI. But even in those leadership meetings I talk about, like, is always trying to tell a story, keep it to the facts, but like tell internally sell, being like, don't worry, it's not great right now, but we'll fix it. This is what I'm going to do to fix it. It's a balance, I think, between your role and mine.
Yeah, I think you said it right in like creating the story, because sometimes it's either hard to see progress, so it's hard to understand what's been done by the team or go-to-market strategy. And a big percentage of that is just to show other people that you are capable and that this issue is in good hands and that you care.
Mm-hmm.
I think I read it somewhere or I saw it somewhere. People are saying that the most valued currency at the moment is service, right? Is someone caring, basically. Because a lot of people just let everything just fly by. And okay, so we didn't hit our target today, we'll hit tomorrow, without letting people around them know that they care about it.
Yeah, I feel you made me think of this where it's like one day you're just a kid, right? And one day you go to school and you're learning something, and then you enter the workforce. You're like, this is fun. I'm doing something. And then one day you're responsible for $20 million of pipeline at an organization, right? Or and spending however $400,000 a month like to generate leads, and you're like who put me here? Like why? This is the big responsibility. And to your point about caring, it's like, yeah, like I fundamentally, because I want to, as you do, and we've talked about, like I want to be successful. I want to continue working hard and showing results. But like I care because I want to do that, right? And like so, I want to do the best job that I can do, and like explain to people why something's not going on or whatever. But I'm a big guy on authenticity, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, which is also a currency that's hard to find sometimes. Yeah, we've been discussing this, right? So it's
Mhm.
sometimes really hard to be direct, like Israelis do, and like the most Israeli Canadian I know, which is you, right? Um,
Sure. We
yeah,
should talk about that actually. Let's
we
finish your
should talk
thought.
about that. Yeah, it was like a year and a half ago, I think, and when I was in Toronto for a
Right.
week,
Yeah.
and yeah, we're at the office, and then after we finished our day, you were like, "Let's go to watch the Blue Jays play." Right? This is on theme subject, right? World Series, right? All this sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
Let's go, Jays.
Let's go, Jays. And so you convinced me by saying it's like drinking beer, just like we're just watching something, right? Because I'm not a big baseball guy. And it was like a $1 hot dog
Yep.
evening. So I'm waiting for the beers to come. And Sean, you went to the hot dogs line. And then I see you like way at the end. Way at the end, I'm gonna reveal some details about you. You may be
Oh no.
revoked of your Canadian citizenship, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so I don't
I
know
just finished
how it
talking about
happened.
authenticity, but
No, yeah, yeah. I don't know how it happened because I hadn't seen it, right? But the line was, I don't know, 40 people, right? So I was waiting for my beer, and like 2 people passed, right? The beer line was a little bit shorter, and then I see a minute passed by, and I see Sean like next to the counter, and I'm like, Sean, how did you get there? And he's like, right? He's like, I don't know, right? My assumption, again, I'm not, I am making assumptions, is he went over the line like this, right? And cut through the
uh,
line.
well, I definitely caught. I don't know if I went under the rope, but you know, the people listeners of this podcast are going to hear this a lot from me. It's funny that this is the first time I'm going to say it, but like I believe an opportunity is the combination of luck and skill. And sometimes just people aren't looking. Sometimes, you know, I am skillful enough to want a beer faster. So
Exactly.
I think you're saying that I'm an Israeli Canadian or something,
Exactly.
right? Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. I appreciate it. I'm all into opportunities, right?
You're pretty friendly. You're pretty friendly Israeli. I think we've worked on that over time, but you're
We
you're a pretty
worked on,
warm guy.
yeah. Well, we're known
And I
for
think
that.
that I think that's maybe the one other thing that we can talk about is like, so when I joined Sysad, I specifically came because it was like an international company so that I could work with like a different culture. I've always been a fan of that. And so there was some Canadian people in the Canadian office. It was about 40 or 50 people, I think, but the large part of the employees were in Israel. Oh boy, did I get to meet so many Israelis. And they were all great. It's just when I had to like argue that it became an issue.
Yeah, it's I guess we'll talk a little bit more about these arguments and where exactly
Yeah.
did things stand, how is it standing right now, because I think it's we both like in different roles a little bit and in different companies. So we face like different challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
And
in different locations too, working 7 hours apart from one another in time difference. So that presented its own challenges. But you guys worked like your workhorses. I think of you, I think of Gal, I think of so many of them.
yeah, it's and I still see it, right? I always try. And this is by the way, I'm giving the victory to myself, right? The marketing is harder. I don't know, just sometimes because of the location, right? So if there are any like US calls, a lot of times the center of the company, a lot of companies is in North America. And especially if you want to talk to salespeople, which is a big part of what I do, is to build this relationship and work with the sales and the sales leader and sales people to overcome our challenges, then they start the work. And now you're more aware of that, right? They start to work when you almost at the end of your day, a lot of times.
Well, man, it was crazy when I came to visit you guys. And so it was just me, and then my team was in Canada. And I'm sitting in the old Sysade office, and it's quiet for like 7 hours of the day. And then at like 3 o'clock, like everything erupts and all the calls start happening and everything, everybody starts like collaborating. It was pretty cool to see. But as a Canadian over there, I hated the fact that I had already worked an 8-hour workday, and then I was going to work for 4 more hours with all the
Yeah.
US people or
Yeah,
Canadian
this
people.
is our day to day, right? This is
Yeah.
our day to day a lot of times. And yeah, it's like I remember in the US Canadian offices, when the day is over, the day is over, right? I'm speaking to people when they're talking to me and they're saying, it's 9 p.m. for you. I'm like, yeah, I need to decide whether I want to see my kids in the afternoon, right? Or have
Yeah.
meeting with you. So I'm seeing my kids, doing showers, putting them to bed, and then I'm in a meeting, right? It's a conscious decision. But I guess we'll talk a little bit more about whose job is harder, right?
It's mine.
It's
Well, we'll keep talking.
I don't know. And I think I wrote it to myself to ask who's going to be replaced sooner with AI.
So that's interesting. So yeah, I'll start this time. Um, I think there's a couple sides to it. Number one, at least, and I think you and I have the benefit of this, is that I still feel like people leadership and management, whether or not that's in a sales or marketing capacity, like will be continue to be a valuable skill, at least during our lifetimes. I don't know. Like I don't think I'll be out of work if I could reinvent myself if the AI ever took sales away. I think with SDR and BDR, I've been reviewing a lot of the AI sequencing tools out there that can do high quantity, high quality outreach. And I think that the danger of that, let me take a step back. I think that with SDR and BDR, I think the roles have to pivot a little bit because I think very quickly, as we've seen the AI generated content surpass human generated content on the internet, I think there will be some filter of all this AI slog that's hitting people's inboxes, and maybe the SDRs they go travel and they go knock on people's doors and go back to the old ways. And then just to wrap up, for a sales rep, I think people will continue to enjoy a personal experience, one-to-one connection, as you've said before, right? Someone that cares, right? Someone that actually wants to work with them and create value for the business.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it when you were speaking about the door-to-door stuff, right? Because walk me for an example, like a little bit different than Sysate. Sysate was more like high velocity kind of business, selling to a lot of customers, like really fits a big market. The TAM was really great. TAM is total addressable market. Yeah, so the TAM is really big. But for WalkMe, it's about really enterprise organizations. And sometimes, the BDRs, marketing, we're trying to reach, I don't know, let's say Coca-Cola, right? A large enterprise, like with branches, I think in every country of the world, right? And so I'm like, go to the headquarters and start knocking on doors. It'll be
I'm
cheaper
saying, right?
it'll be cheaper than a lot of
I
the
think
other solutions, right?
I think I saw someone posted on LinkedIn the other day, or someone shared it with me, where they're like, my BDR has just been emailing companies and saying, I'm going to be around your office. Do you mind if I get a guest pass to work from your office for the day or something? And like, at the time, I was like, that's insane. But like, I think we'll go back to almost experiential in-person stuff quickly, which is too bad because I feel like we just burn through the most valuable sales resource there is,
Which is
the internet,
the internet. Yeah.
emails.
Yeah, but there's like an influx, right? And I'm kind of with you, right? In my perspective on SDR and BDR and sales in general is that AI is just not there yet. And I'd love to see someone that actually pulled off an all AI BDR team or sales team. I'd love to see it work because I haven't. Everything I saw an example last week of someone, just an AI outreach, right? That people get on LinkedIn when it's like, hey, first name, I saw you were posting about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
And this is
And you can
really
define those
interesting.
with prompts. It's
Yeah, you
crazy.
can define. Yeah. And the thing is that when you don't do the research and let AI do it for you, sometimes for AI, it's hard to understand the context. So this person who shared with me like the screenshot, the text said something like, I saw you were interested posting about B2B marketing and the fall of AI and the war in Gaza and
Yeah.
like it's like a mishmash of like different things that no human will ever write ever. And you
Yeah,
need
it's
a
almost
human to respond
assumed.
to that. Yeah.
It's almost assumed at this point where that's going to be like AI. It's, I don't know. I think we're savvier than most when it comes to this. I think there's a wide swath of any TAM where people still aren't very accustomed to chat GPT stuff. So, like, never fear. It's not going to be an immediate danger, but it will become one for sure.
Yeah. How well do you think you can answer about AI replacing some parts in marketing?
Well, I think for you specifically, again, I'll say the same comment about leadership. I think that you really have this talent and gift, and I think that'll always be valuable. But for inbound demand gen, like you yourself have shown me a picture of agentic like chatbots to handle different responsibilities of yours, in a sequence and a logical flow chart, graph, whatever. So like, do you not think like if you were to work on that for the next 2 years that you could just completely replace yourself?
It's a good note. I think that you still need the orchestrator, right?
Oh,
Someone to, you
yes,
know what I
fair.
mean?
Yes, 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 yes.
I think
But that in itself means that your responsibility has changed. The position you know today is different.
um, I don't think it's vastly different because you'd still work under the same, like you still be working the same people, right? Or the same on the same tasks. Just that some of the tasks will be done by AI agents, right? And some will be automated, right? A lot of people now replaces automation with AI. A lot of things can be done with automation, right? Zapier
Yep.
has been in the market for years now, right? A lot of things you can do in Zapier that you think, oh, it's AI doing it. No, you don't need NA10 or whatever, right? It's simple Zapier automation. When X happens, then it's like if then kind of rule. And in terms of, the agents, my point is that you need to see what good looks like. And some people trying to solve problems they've never
Mm.
solved ever. So you don't know what good looks like. If you don't know what the good outreach looks like, then you won't be able to build like a good follow-up sequence or outreach sequence. If you don't know what good campaign looks like, then it's going to be really hard to generate it out of thin air. And I've been having like friends of mine messaging me, Google have this tool now that you just enter prompt and it just generates a whole marketing campaign for you. And guess what? It's not a great campaign. It can
Yeah.
give you some good ideas, some brainstorming and stuff. But in order to really automate or use AI for this, you need to understand what good looks like. And people are skipping this. And I'm going to say one last thing about it is that it's like delegation. When you are delegating a task, you need to understand what you're doing. You need to document it. And after that, you can train and then delegate. People are trying to skip all these steps and delegate.
Mm.
Tell the agent, I need you to do X, Y, Z and go do it. It's never going to happen this way. And this is why people who understand what good looks like will always have a job.
Right. Well, I guess I'll do this for the first time. And for those that are watching, let us know your thoughts in the comments. I'd be eager to learn some different viewpoints as well. But I guess with that, Yuval, shall we end it here today?
Yeah. Let's wrap it up. Do you want to give a tip or like a smart thing you learned this week about something? It doesn't have to be sales related. It can be just something fun you learned or want people to know.
Yeah, fun tip.
A
I
tidbit.
think one of the greatest skill sets that a leader or anyone working in a corporate environment can have, and it served me pretty well, especially when moving into new positions, but is humility, right? Like the hubris to understand that you don't know anything until you ask the right questions, right? As part of that, you need to ask the right questions. You need to ask any question to start, but ideally over time they get better and better. And you?
Yeah. I think my point is I haven't thought of one. And I was thinking of something that I had a conversation with someone I work with today about just asking questions and being curious and really pushing to get something done. A lot of people around you don't want to go out of their comfort zone. And if you want to grow, you need to go outside of your comfort zone. There's no growth without pain. And because we're both like 6 feet tall, right? I think we should mention it, right? And
Sure.
how tall, because people can tell, right? How tall are we?
Yeah.
Right? So we're both growing, and there's growth pains, right? To be as tall as we. And I think this is the right note to end this episode with our
Great.
height. Great.
Well said. Well said. All right, man.